So, you were arrested for drunk driving. You took and failed the breathalyzer, and the police took your license for 30 days under the Implied Consent Law. But now your 30 days are up. Do you just get your license back? Watch this video to learn why it's not that simple, as well as the steps you need to take in order to get your license back.
911 recorded line, what is the address of the emergency?
Welcome back to our channel, Greater Boston Legal Advice. I'm Mike Contant. I've been a practicing criminal defense lawyer for the past 24 years. And as you know, on this channel, we do a lot of topics involving criminal defense with particular focus on drunk driving cases and what you should do and what you shouldn't do. In other videos on this channel, we've talked about the Implied Consent Law, essentially that if you refuse to take a breath test or a blood test after being arrested for drunk driving, that your license can be taken away. Likewise, under that same law, if you do take the test and you fail it, in other words, your blood alcohol goes above a 0.08 on that test, and you're still going to lose your license, but it's for a much shorter period of time. But this video isn't really going into all that because I've done other videos on that particular topic. I'll put a link to that video on the Implied Consent Law in the description below here. This video is more to talk about, okay, now I lost my license either because I took the breath test and failed it and lost it for, say, 30 days, or because I refused it and lost it for 180 days. In either scenario, those days have passed now, and I want to get my license back. So that's what this video is going to talk about, is how to get your license back into those circumstances. And it's a lot more difficult than you think. And that's what we're going to get into. And the reason I'm doing this video is because I've had a couple of clients recently have to go through this, and it should be as simple as the 30 days have passed in most circumstances because they took the breath test and they failed it, and they just want to get their license back. They get the 30 days have passed. There's a reinstatement fee to be paid at the Registry of Motor Vehicles. It's $500. You should be able to pay that online or in person and get your license back. However, that's not how it works. As silly as that sounds, you actually have to go see a hearings officer to get your license back. And that confuses a great number of people. I've had clients who come in and they say, I want to get my license back. I say, okay, you have to schedule this hearing with the hearings officer. And then they go online to the registry's portal and they get further confused because the registry's online system sucks. And since COVID, they've been relying more and more on an appointment system at the Mass Registry of Motor Vehicles versus in the past where anyone in Massachusetts had a license for any period of time has waited in those lines at the different registries in Massachusetts where you can just walk in to do whatever business you need to do. Now, since COVID, pretty much everything's on an appointment basis, including seeing a hearings officer. So this particular client had a drunk driving case. She blew above a 0.08. She lost her license for 30 days. And then we told her you need to go make this appointment for a hearing to see a hearings officer. And she ended up making the wrong appointment. She just made a regular appointment to go see, go to the counter essentially, to go see someone at the counter for a more usual transaction like renewing a license or renewing a registration or something like that. Unfortunately, the correct appointment didn't get made. She goes in there and says, okay, I want to reinstate my license. Says, oh, they tell her that she's in the wrong place. You have to go see a hearings officer. And the whole point of seeing the hearings officer is not to really prove anything. You've already served your time at this point. The hearings officer's job is just to review the record to make sure that, number one, the correct period of time has passed, that you haven't had the license, and number two, that there's not something else out there keeping you from having a valid license, like some other suspension in some other state or for some other reason. But unfortunately, you have to schedule an appointment with the hearings officer. And it's confusing. It's not real clear in the letter they send you when they suspend your license. And that's why I wanted to make this video here today. Even more so than just having to do this in the first place is the registry's portal itself. Because when you go on there to try and either to schedule the correct hearing, it's not real clear where you need to go to schedule. So in this video, what I'm also gonna do in just a minute is we're gonna go to my computer and I'm going to show you the actual website and actually where you need to go to actually schedule the correct appointment with the hearings officer so you can get your license reinstated. I'm just going to do that right now. All right, guys, so as promised, we're here at my computer. And from here, I'm going to show you just how to get onto the registry's online service center to get an appointment for a hearing with a hearings officer, and I'll show you just what mistakes you don't want to make so you don't get lost on their website. So the first thing I do is just type in Mass RMV. If I could type, that'd be great, and gets us to here. Click on there for Massachusetts Registry of Motor Vehicles, mass.gov. It's part of mass.gov. And while you could navigate down here and try and find what you need to do, it's much easier just to go to the search bar on the top right hand corner and type in suspension hearing, and then hit return, and here we are. And there's a couple of search results here for suspension hearings. There's hearing information, suspension hearings, types of hearings. Click on suspension hearings information. It's the quickest way to get there, and then just scroll down this particular page until you get to sort of the middle here where it says online service center. This is what you want, and in fact I'm just going to put a link below this video so you can go right to here. You can skip these first couple of steps if you wanted to, but this is where it is in case you don't have the link or the link's not working or something. Okay, so click on online service center. All right, and this is where it gets a little confusing. So if you were to be on the online service center, you know you want a reservation for a hearing with a hearings officer, and you would think you would just put in make or cancel a reservation. It's right there in the top left hand corner. You navigate it here through the suspension hearing section of the website, but unfortunately it doesn't work that way. It's not that simple, simply because it's just a confusing website and it kind of sucks a little bit. But what you need to do is continue scrolling down to the bottom right side where it says additional services, and that's really what you want is additional services. And down almost to the bottom of that section says make or cancel a hearing reservation. This is the one you want. You want to make or cancel a hearing reservation. Now at this point in time, you're also going to want that letter that you got from the Registry of Motor Vehicles telling you that your license got suspended. So that has some information you're going to need. So click next. And you can schedule an appointment, you can cancel an appointment, or you can retrieve your notice of the appointment. What you want to do is schedule an appointment, and this is where that letter comes in. There's an ID number on that letter about the suspension that you're going to want, and they say is a required form here. If for some reason you lost a letter, you don't have the ID number, you're not out of luck. You can click on I don't have a letter ID. It's going to bring you to a page where you can put in some basic information from your license. It's going to get you to the same spot. From here, or if you were back at the section where you need the letter ID, you hit submit, and then it's going to bring you to a place where you can select the date of your hearing. It's based on what's available, and you select a particular date and time. And it's all pretty simple from there. It's like any other online form you've ever filled out. It does give you the option, if you wanted to at that point, to upload any documentation that you thought the hearing officer might need. Now keep in mind, this particular type of hearing, you're not really trying to prove anything, you're not really trying to win anything. It's really just about them checking the record to make sure you are able to get your license back. In other words, the appropriate amount of days have passed is one thing they'll look at. They want to see if there's anything else holding up your license, like something from another state or some other type of suspension that's pending, and that's all they're looking to do. Once they can verify those details, they should clear your record so you can get your license back. Now, once they actually clear the record, you should be able to online, in the same online service center, be able to pay the reinstatement fee and get your license renewed. It really should be that simple. You shouldn't have to make a further reservation with the registry. You shouldn't have to go down to any place at that point in time. Your license should get renewed that way. Now, you're not going to get a paper license or I should say a card license in the mail for a couple of weeks, but your privileges to drive in Massachusetts will be reinstated as soon as you pay that reinstatement fee after that hearing, so you can start driving again right away after that particular hearing. And one thing I didn't mention before is that hearing is actually going to be a virtual hearing, not on Zoom, but by telephone. So when you make the appointment for that hearing with the hearings officer, it's actually a phone appointment. So they'll give you a particular date and time and basically tell you to sit by the phone, and someone's going to call you from the registry, a hearings officer will call you from the registry and go through all this with you on the telephone. You actually don't have to go anyplace for that particular hearing, and that's how you're going to be able to get your license reinstated if you were to have lost it due to the implied consent law, either refusing the breath test or failing the breath test and losing it for that shorter period of time. All right, and that's pretty much all I can say about this. Oh, one more. I shouldn't say I lied. There's one more part about this I wanted to talk about. Now, some people, when they go into the system and they go to get their appointment, they see it's very far out. It could be weeks, if not over a month away. And what I would say is take the earliest possible appointment in that situation and then check back in a couple of days, because people make the appointments, they cancel the appointments all the time for different reasons, and you might be able to get something sooner. This actually happened to a client of ours. She did just that, and I said just check back in a couple of days, and in a couple of days there was an appointment in less than a week, and so she was able to get something sooner. So if for some reason you can't get the appointment for a long period of time, just check back to the Registry of Motor Vehicles website in a couple of days, and you might be able to get that earlier appointment that you're looking for. All right, well, that's all I get for this section. All right, so we'll go back to the other part of the video. All right, so now I'm back. I hope that was helpful to show you just what you need to do to reinstate your license after losing it under the implied consent law. It should be a very simple thing to get it back after serving your time, but unfortunately the bureaucracy in Massachusetts doesn't make it quite that simple. It just is one extra hurdle you got to do, and a lot of people get confused by that. I've had a couple clients recently who've had those particular problems. And one thing I will say as well is once you've done what you need to do on the computer, get the hearing, after you've had the hearing with the hearings officer, you don't need to make another appointment with the Registry of Motor Vehicles to go in and reinstate the license. Once the hearing officer clears it in the system, you should just be able to go to the registry's online regular online services portal to reinstate the license, to pay the fees there. And once you pay those fees, your license is automatically reinstated. You won't get a physical license in the mail for a couple of weeks most likely, but your license and your privileges to drive here in Massachusetts are reinstated. So if you get stopped by the police or anything like that, they can look it up. They can see you have an active license, and you won't get in any more trouble. I hope this was helpful to everybody. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below the video. If this was helpful to you, I would appreciate it if you would hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. It certainly helps us to continue to make this type of content for people, and it helps keep us going. So as always, if you have any questions about this or anything related to criminal defense, please feel free to give me a call, leave a comment below the video, shoot me an email. I'll be happy to speak with you about any of those topics. All right, thanks a lot and have a great day, everybody.